So
Yes, I was invited by Simon concerning to work with communities. Then, while the project evolved, I wanted to work with a mirror, and it's a project. It's a project that Eduardo Thomas has been developing for a lot of years. We've been working in a kind of movie for the last year and a half. We begin to talk about to work with already existing video, which is called Man and the Mirror by Guy Sherving. We began to discuss, and we came to this idea to work with the idea of mirror and with the idea of Alice, since Alice in Wonderland by Tim Burton was shot here. We began to work with the idea of the extras as the ones who are designed to fill an empty space in a way, to appear to be disappeared.
we know each other for like good 10 years, and he wanted this project to be a video, a film, so he asked me to join him and collaborate. When we got the opportunity to work here, we started thinking of the idea of the extra as a person that sort of inscribes herself into the structure of a larger production or larger dynamic set of hierarchies as well, and it kind of gives up agency of the character they portray in the film. And we figure it might be a way to talk or address issues that connect like history of the space with history, like personal histories or work relations, workflows. And the project demanded some sort of reflection about people in city and what sort of dynamics people have in each specific locality. Like he said, also ideas of visibility and invisibility, and then the extra being that character that is sort of visible but at the same time invisible, is kind of just like part of a landscape or sort of a prop, and that connects to the other thing we've been working on. So
That was fantastic. That was like,
we thought we should jump on it.
yes.
And with the help of people here, like the production, like Vicky and Simon, we just asked them like to put out a call for people that participated in Burton's film, and if they were interested to do something with us.
This video, The Mirror, in Guy Sherving, Man in the Mirror, he had like this filming his stock of himself, like handling this mirror 40 years ago, more or less, I guess. And he was like trying to capture the landscape and whatever, and he kept it. I think he discovered it later, and he projected the film, and he placed himself in front of the film, and trying to play again with the mirror, flipping the mirror. But when he flipped the mirror, the projection of himself younger was like projected there. Then when he flipped it the way around, again was the reflection of the mirror. It was a very interesting game, because when in the video you don't know what's happening really. Sometimes he gets younger, sometimes he gets older, sometimes the square shrinks. It's a very interesting game. So we related this idea of the mirror with Alice, through the looking glass and all this idea of the other and so on.
I guess it kind of signals to the continuity of the self, like positioning of oneself in a space, a collapsing space and time through image.
We're super lucky to have Jess and Marrick on board. They were like some of the of the extras who worked in Tim Burton's film. Jess, working as an extra in the beginning of the film, and Marrick at the end. And we went to the place where the beginning of the film was held, which is Anthony House, I believe.
We worked with them in the script. We asked them to develop a bit more the character they played for the Burton's film, trying to flesh out that unknown character that is normally as an extra pushed back to just being a thing, almost like a thing-like person. And yeah, they came up with actually really nice ideas. Yeah, with this idea of the mirror, we thought we might bring together that character or that persona with their actual person or who they claim to be right now.
It was quite a deep experience, I'd say. So we had to do, we were doing like choreography with like mirrors and things like this, which over time, because I had to do it quite slowly, the mirror became like really, really heavy. And that was kind of like the physical side of it. But I guess they kind of asked me some quite deep questions on the audio part of the project. And at the time they asked me, who are you? Which I understand is sort of what the caterpillar asked Alice. And I was kind of a bit like rabbit in the headlights at that time, because I was like, yeah, who am I, you know? You can kind of rattle off that I could say I've got like a first-class honours degree in photography and I've won awards and all these sorts of, you know, but is that really who I am? You know, it was quite a profound, and I was like, I think if I was to redo that, I'd say, I'm still learning who I am every day.
We picked up, I think it's chapter 5 from Alice in Wonderland. It's where Alice meets the caterpillar, and that's also where the title of this piece picks up its name. It's advice from a caterpillar, and it's a moment where the caterpillar questions the identity of Alice and is just asking her, like, who are you? And she's a bit uncertain and cannot pinpoint, because she's been going through changes and the story getting large and small. But I guess you could read it also as, yeah, that continuity of the self that never is fixated into one single being. And we also wanted to, like I said, like explore it in relationship to space, to place, and like in this case to Plymouth, like to the story of the town. So we also work with Jess and Marrick, asking them about the relationship to the city. Like, for example, we wanted to know what parts of town they would like to maybe change or remodel, and why. That's more or less how we end up in this area. Like Jess's idea was like she really likes coming here, but she misses the pier. Apparently there was a big pier here that was destroyed, and she would like to have the pier back in the city.
So you could say it's a reflection of the city itself, and the main theme of Antonio and Eduardo's project was how the character we were in the film can relate to the city itself and our relation to the city. And so you see a lot of that in sort of mirror of a reflection, with you see Anthony House one moment and the city the next, and that was the main theme of it. We were asked to choose part of the city that we'd like to see improved, that we feel needs a bit of love and attention, really. And so I mentioned the west end of the city centre and through Union Street, because with a lot of the concrete and brick boxes, it looks very run down, needs a bit of care and attention. No, it's very important as to showcase the city and what the people of the city themselves and their connection to it, because it's the city. Obviously, you've got the physical side of the city, but it's the lifeblood. You know, the city really is the people and their identities and their stories and the cultures, a lot of the oral histories that get passed down as well. And this was a great opportunity to kind of try and preserve that.
The thing that was very important for us was also to consider our collaborators like everyone involved in the project, as much as important or relevant as us. Like it's not just like, oh, we have this thing and we want you to move like this and that. Like we proposed the idea of, okay, we're going to use something that has been used before, which is like this technique developed by Guy Sherwin, and we have been like sort of like connecting the dots, like highlighting certain relationships that might lay a bit forgotten or unseen. Again, try to make visible some things that are invisible. For instance, what came out of it, and it's not our idea, it's just sort of what it is that one of the persons involved in this, that's Jess, she was at the beginning of the film, and she was casted as a maid. And then the other one, Marrick, he was at the end of the film. I mean about Tim Burton's film, and he was casted as a gentleman. So you immediately have like a beginning and end, gender roles, class roles, like the functionality of their characters within the supposed Victorian era, and then we wanted to connect like that with who they are in real life and today in 21st century. Like what does it mean then for a guy or a girl, or people that define themselves as a woman or as a man, like to embrace that other kind of persona, and again how they relate to the town they live in, what they think the history of their characters might have been in the past, if those characters were real, and like try to fold all that, and again not just define it and give it to someone and say, look, this is it, like here are the answers, but rather point to those paradoxical and conflictive relationships that I guess will resonate with more people living in and working and making the city of Plymouth what it is.